wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. 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 Today's gonna be a good day.
Are you guys awake? This TGIF. It's nice to see all of my beautiful coffee beans coming into the chat. Good morning.
Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. 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 Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Morning. We've got a lot to go over, so go grab your beverage and come right on back here. Well, good morning. It is TGIF in a brand new year. For all of you that didn't think you guys were going to make it to 2026, not only did you make it to 2026, you made it to the first Friday of 2026. So, just to start off, before I go down and say hi to everybody, we have a manageable chat this morning where I can go and say hi to you guys individually. Before we get started on our long-winded live this morning, we do have some people up in the chat. There we are. We got some people over in the vertical. I want to say hey to you guys over in vertical. It is nice to see you, Reba, Carmela, and for other people, Tammy, for those that would like to be in the bushes. That's the great place to be, is over there in the bushes. But if you guys are new to the channel and you would like to talk about one of or few of the topics we're going to be discussing today, you might want to be over in the horizontal chat. We allow you to speak over here in 20 minutes. On the vertical, it takes you 5 days. There is a reason for that. It's a good reason, okay? We get a lot of trolls in the true crime community, and so we found this is best way to manage it because we've only got so many moderators in this chat, and to have them both on both channels back and forth, it makes it difficult. So I kind of funnel all the new people over here to the horizontal chat until you're kind of known, and then you're already in 5 days later, and you know, everything's good. So anyways, it's nice to see you this afternoon at 5:30. I'm pretty sure I put it on 5:30. Might be 5. I'm pretty sure I did 5:30 though, is our call-in show, okay? And this call-in show for Sebastian Rogers is going to be a little unique. So how this is going to be is we've plugged in several interviews. Nothing bombshelly yet. I'm still working on plugging, stuff in. We do have a good list of red flags. I mean, it's hitting the nail on the head too. But I thought it'd be a great time for us to open up the phone lines, and we all ask, like, you guys call in here and ask your specific question to me. I ask it to the system and see what the system responds back and answers your question. I thought it'd be interesting, right? We've never done that before. We've never had a system to ask questions to before, but now we do. Now we do. So if you guys would like that tonight at 5:30, if it's not at 5:30, I'm probably going to change it to 5:30. I'm pretty sure I set it for 5:30. Please, go over there, hit the subscribe button. If you guys are wanting to speak, you're going to want to be on the horizontal chat for that live as well. And the call-in show is going to be the same number, so everybody's going to be able to hear the call-ins, the people that call in. We'll do a sound check to start the live off. I'll have one of my mods call in to check the system to make sure everybody's hearing everybody really, really well. And that's kind of where we'll go with that. So we do have some political talking points first thing this morning. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. I was frustrated yesterday, got through the stuff yesterday. YouTube does not like it when I go major all-in political. I had no problem. It just took a really long time for them to approve my my video. It took a little back and forth, but we got it pushed through. And we're good to go. We're good to go. But either way, we will try to. I'm just going to speak freely. We are in America. I don't live under a communist regime. I'm a free human being, and I'm going to speak freely. If people are okay with that, please hit the subscribe button. If you're not okay with that, or you find it offensive that people use their mouth and their words, well, this probably was never the chat for you to begin with, seeing how I am Bullhorn Betty, right? Obviously, I have a lot to say. Obviously, I am a controversial person. If you can handle it, you're more than welcome to stay and hang out and speak. If you can't, and you're just going to be nasty and rude, it's time for you to leave. Time to take your little butt home, okay? Or go somewhere else. You can't stay here. All right, folks? So we got some political stuff that you guys need to know. It's not going to be as angry as yesterday. It's going to be kind of more informative this morning. And then, of course, we've got a lot going on with the 4-year-old. Good gracious. The now 4-year-old Jonathan Bully. It's really starting to rub me the wrong way that nobody freaking knows what this boy's age is. I am furious over this, and I'm not blaming the mama's side of the family, because it was the family that finally, kind of came forward and gave us some information that this child is truly 4 years old. I don't know what the problem is here, folks. It's from what I'm hearing is he's not going to turn 5 until April. That's some 6 months away. Okay, so. His blue eyes aren't blue, they're brown. So we have a lot of issues. I'm just going to say just on the face of all of this, we have a lot of issues, and I don't understand why the information is so wrong when it comes to poor Jonathan Boley. We did find out a lot of information. We're going to get into the information we're learning. Please remember, when we have a fluid situation like this, where we're dealing with breaking news cases, there has to be some reasonable expectation that some of the information is inaccurate or wrong or misrepresented because of the fluidness of the case. Those things will be rectified in good time as that information becomes available. However, I'm not boots on the ground out there. I'm not physically talking to these people. So I'm left to other reporters, other reporting, and trying to make heads or tails from that. When we're boots on the ground, we go with our own research. When we're sitting here, landside, we have to go by other people's work, and if they make mistakes, so do we. But that's the beauty of it. Now, when I'm out there doing this stuff, do I make mistakes? Of course, because I'm still at the mercy of whoever's giving me the information. And if they're giving me inaccurate information, naturally the reporting to you is going to be inaccurate. So I don't believe that the stuff now is inaccurate. I think we're going to get a lot of clarification related to Jonathan Boley we didn't once have, because mom's there, right? I can't imagine how mom must be feeling, guys. And I think we just need, if you guys are prayer folks, if you guys are spiritual folks, whatever kind of folks you are, your good-heartedness, you guys need to take a knee today, if you would. Because I can't imagine this mother, because like many of our moms, like Whitney Decker, a lot of courts are forcing moms to hand over their most precious cargo to people that they've fled from, that they have ran from, that have hurt them, scared them, or made them fear for their life. And they go into courts because a lot of people use these things. I'm going to say it just like this. A lot of people use the courts to lie about their significant other for a variety of reasons. They fell out of love with them. They don't want them around the children. They want to be vindictive. For whatever reason, and they will lie to a court saying somebody is abusive when they are not. And what is so detrimental about that for the people that do that? Shame on you, first and foremost, but it creates situations like we're dealing with Jonathan Boley, okay? Because of you, because of your lies. It creates the system that allowed this child right here to be put in harm's way. Why? Because you're having to convince a judge that you are being truthful, but the bimbo that was there before you, that was lying through her teeth, was lying through her teeth. So you see that they're always having to question because of all these horrible, and I'm going to say it, bitchy ass women that have no clue. You make me sick. I don't believe that my audience is part of that, but if I just offended you with that, then you need some work. You got some work on yourself that you need to be doing, okay? Because there's been so many people that have lied on men in our court system for no other reason than to get more money, to have more custody, or have more control over a situation. And that has had detrimental effects on children that are truly in danger. And when moms need the courts to truly believe that they are telling the truth and they have to fight, and the courts don't believe them because the 150 other lying women before you that came before that judge to do the same thing, he has to now look at you and put you with all of those lying ass women. Okay? And then now your child is in danger. And I truly believe that is what happened with Whitney Decker, and that is what happened in this case here, where a mother is forced to turn her child over to a parent that they know is losing their marbles and has had violent tendencies in the past and are leaning toward a problem. She knew this a long time ago. She had we'll get into all of this in later in the show. This is going to be the last part. But you guys can see I'm fired up about this, and I think we really need to take note. And I'm going to shame the hell out of a lot of parents that are utilizing the court system in error, in full lies, just to get whatever the hell you want. And look at this child right here, this child's blood's on your hands. If you have manipulated a court system, a family court system, to have more power or more money, you have Jonathan's blood on your hands. You have Jonathan's blood on your hands. You have Whitney's Decker, 3 girls' blood on your hands. I want to make sure that I shame you so publicly that you warn other people not to do it. If I ever find out anybody is doing this, and I think our news associates, including our independent journalists, need to start paying attention to this, because we need to start putting these people front and center. Front and center. We need to start shaming these people one by one. A mama goes in there and says that their child was essayed by their father, knowing damn well that's a lie. Baby, you need to be on the Bullhorn Betty channel. You need to come up here and explain yourself, is what I'm saying. So we'll get into all of that. So we're going to be doing the call-in show at 5:30 tonight related to Sebastian Rogers. We're going to ask the system, what questions do you have? You guys got plenty of hours to start thinking of what questions you want to have. And these are all the questions related to Chris and Katie's interviews that go up to Smiley Stories World. Okay? Smiley Stories World. We can ask the system just about anything. I think by Smiley Stories World, we had the most that we were going to have. After that, it was challenging them on information. And we're going to be getting that because, of course, we have Terry Lynn, which is going to be a hot mess express of a freaking interview because he couldn't quit cussing. I mean, it was the worst thing I seen. I mean, Chris was sitting there flirting with this woman, and she's just trying to act like it was just despicable. And I've got to plug that crap into the freaking system too. So we're going to leave it at that. So let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you. Phil, one of the first to say hi, saying she's number 11. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Put your DNA on that little check mark, that little thumbs up, right? Because you never know if you go missing. We may have to find you, right? We need your DNA. We need a swap of your DNA. So hit that button. Eeyore Blues, Melanie, it's nice to see you. Denise, Let Them 66, it's nice to see you. Tanya, Carmela, hello. The Real Me Too, it's nice to see you. Our beautiful Outer Banks up in the house. Libby, good morning. YouTuber is here. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Saying, wake up! West Virginia Holly Girl, Mama, Little Orange Man. It's nice to see you. Trust the process. Cheyenne, good morning. It's nice to see you. Ann is from Alabama. We're going to be talking about your state here soon, so stick around. Stick around. Libby, it's nice to see you. Groovy gal up in the house. Woo, woo, woo. Who else do we have? I think we've got everybody so far. Reagan, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Oakley, hello. Let Them 66. It's nice to see you. All of my beautiful mods. Sonia, The Real Me Too. Pebbles, it's nice to see you. Oakley, it's nice to see you. Do I have anybody over in Vertical that I'm missing? Frank It Up. Veronica, it's nice to see you. Good morning. I'm hoping I'm not missing anybody over here in the Vertical side, but if I am, I'm sorry. We got 8 people over there. It's nice to see ya. It's nice to see ya. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and just jump right in. So this is kind of your stuff that you need to know. If you guys are, getting some type of health payments or some type of child care payments, there are things that, even if you're not in Minnesota, there are things that you need to know. Okay, and despite what I think, say up here and stuff like that, I love people and I love helping people. I think our tax dollars should go to helping people. I don't believe it's our responsibility to be paying for childcare. I just want to throw that out there. And I don't believe it's our responsibility to be taking care of people's health insurance needs, okay? We are not, I don't even think it's our responsibility to be dealing with freaking pets and animal services, okay? That is not the government's responsibility, okay? That's why we give grants to nonprofits. That's the true reason and purpose for these nonprofits, not to rob the American people blind, right? So they're robbing us blind, and we're at a government level taking care of all the stuff we're sending. So I'm done with the nonprofits. Okay, just to throw that out there. But I want to tell you guys this because you're going to hear some things that may rub you the wrong way, and I want to tell you we are a philanthropist country. I don't agree with it, but that's where we are. And if you need help, we help you. Okay. Now, I don't think it's fair that somebody that can't afford things can live a better lifestyle than the people that are putting that money in their pocket. So there's a lot of stuff that I do want to just clarify here that may upset people. But when it comes to the child tax care, whether you're part of the fraudulent stuff going on or not, I'm pretty sure people in my chat are not part of the fraud. Okay, I mean just saying. I don't see any of you guys being part of the fraud. But hey, you never know, right? We don't know each other, right? We don't know each other. But I digress. The payments are stopping across the country, folks. So if you are part of, where you're getting help for these, there may be some issues going on. Okay. I don't want you guys being alarmed, because once it's resolved, it's resolved. But we have to do this. We all are seeing the fraud going across this country. I pray to God that you guys, get yourself, utilize this stuff. If you are utilizing certain services, I hope you're not relying on them. You want to utilize them for stepping stones to get yourself, that you don't want to be on government assistance, folks. Okay, I'm sorry, you just don't want to be. Okay, look at all this stuff. You got somebody like me telling you to sit down and shut up and let the big kids take care. Do you really want to be talked to like that the rest of your life? You don't want to be on welfare. Okay, if you're on welfare, you need to start finding steps to get yourself off. You need to go back. If you don't have a high school education, start with just getting a GED. Right? Just start getting a GED. Start going back to maybe some vocational schools, or, becoming a CNA, an LPN, medical stuff. You always do stuff. Anything in government or medical, become a planner. I hate my planning department in Manatee County. Finding a good planner, nobody thinks about stuff like that. And that's stuff that gets you on a government tit with great benefits. Okay. So if you are struggling, guys, I can't make you go do better for yourself. I can just tell you there's a better way out there if you give yourself a fighting chance. That's all I can tell you. I can't make you change what you're doing or anything like that. And you can't make me talk any nicer about, entitlements and stuff. Okay, I'm sorry. You're just not going to get it. So Ann Clausen needs prayers. So we're saying, I don't know. But it looks like we need to say some prayers for Miss Ann. So no fraud here. We work hard for every penny. Exactly. And so I do understand that people are, came from, homes that didn't have money. And quite frankly, poverty is one of those things that are, something that's given to you from generation to generation. It's hard to break that cycle once you're in it. But you can break that cycle. Dolly was making fun of you all for never showing up and searching anymore. He will be in bed. I could care less about what he says about me. I'm dealing with ungodly court bills. Okay. Now, if he would really like the real person that goes out there and knows what the fuck they're doing, now he can go ahead and start ponying up the money for my legal expenses, and I'm happy to go out and help. But it makes it a little difficult. In 2026, this stuff is. And guess what? This channel is going to be dominating the news waves here on social media once we kick all these court stuff. We'll be back out there on the road doing circles. Remember, Dolly, the only reason why he ever goes out is because he likes the dollar bill and the con and the grift. Okay, you guys bought him a freaking trailer and camper that he still has and never's used. You guys are idiots. I'm just saying. Just don't worry about Dolly. You guys keep Dolly on your side, and there ain't no reason for him to be plugged in on my side. So just FYI. Okay, just keep his name off my channel. Otherwise, I'll put and we got a Dolly that comes in here that hangs out with us, and we like her. So please don't make me, block Dolly's name in this chat. I will. just to let you know, I will. Okay. Oh, Miss Horn, gotcha. She's about to make her heavenly flight. Oh my gosh. Oh, that gives me goosebumps. That gives me goosebumps. She was a very nice lady. Rough around the edges, but I like rough around the edges. You guys know how I roll. You guys know how I roll. She was a great person. I'm glad I got to meet her. I'm glad I got to hear her story. I'm glad I got to hear her father's story. Her father was a freaking legend, a wrestling legend. So if you guys don't know about wrestling, I mean, Dolly would be probably the one that would be more into it to explain who her father was. But he was one of the first 3 wrestlers ever. He wore those things over their face and body and stuff like that. But they didn't have numbers. They didn't have anything. They were just she had one of the original wrestling suits ever seen or used. I mean, it was. Anyways, it's just she has a legendary history, and I'm glad I got to hear her story. I'm glad I was privileged enough to hear her story. So, anyways, I don't want to start crying. Let's get back on politics. It'll cheer me up. Taking down, giving it to the man, right? Giving it to the man. That's what perks me up. Yeah, let's say a prayer for her. Anyways, getting back to this, the child care payments have been halted, not just in Minnesota, but around this country, and rightfully so. I think we've uncovered a beast, and it's going to take a lot of time and money to correct that. And I just want to say to the recipients out there, please don't get frustrated. Don't start going on tyrant. You guys see that there really is a problem here. And if you want the benefits for yourselves tomorrow, you're not going to want to be a part of this fraud, and you're going to want this fraud to come to an end, because think about it. If this money is being wasted and that program goes to zero, guess what? Your payments go to zero, folks. You can't pull money when there's no money. So everybody, especially the people that are on these programs, you guys should be the first ones reporting fraud if you see it. If you see your doctor doing things that they shouldn't be doing, or charging Medicare for things that they didn't do to you or your child, you need to be reporting them. Because this right here is the reason why you should be more proactive, especially if you're getting those benefits from the American taxpayers, right? You should be part of the solution, not part of the problem, because it actually extends your benefits even longer if you need them, right? So just remember that. It's not all about keeping these programs afloat for you tomorrow. And if you guys are robbing from the coffers today, there's not going to be anything for tomorrow. Then what? Because I'm going to tell you, when we're broke, and I can tell you the American people are pissed off. There's millions and millions, people, it is literally trending right now on TikTok for people not to pay their taxes. And there's literally millions of people that are going to go without paying their freaking taxes. They have had it. Millions of people. I don't know what our budget's going to be for 2026. This is going to be a new era for us, because I truly believe these people are sick and tired of the freaking federal government, and they are literally about to defund it. We're about to defund our federal government, the American middle-class taxpayer. I truly believe it. Now, there's not going to be a whole lot we can do with the businesses. The businesses, they can destroy tax. The IRS will destroy a business, but there's only so much they can do to us, right? So if you're a business, you're going to have to file an extension if you need to. But the rest of us, we don't need to do shit. I can tell you, bury me under the frickin' jail. I don't give a rat's ass. The government is not getting another dime, not even one frickin' penny from Bullhorn Betty, until they can show me that it is legitimately needed. Because when I sit here and realize that we are paying literally the annual gross domestic product of Somalia every single year, basically we're paying to keep that country afloat for the last decade. If we can afford to keep an entire country afloat for an entire decade, clearly our federal government has too much of our money. That's the way I look at it. Our federal government has way too much of our money. Do I want these programs? I don't believe in these programs. I will be honest with you. I don't believe that it should be the taxpayer to pay for anybody's child care, because nobody paid for our child care. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not going to get off. You're never going to make Bullhorn Betty be something I am not. And one thing I am absolutely not is okay with me or you paying for somebody's child care. I don't mind paying if you need food, if you need electric to stay warm during the winter. It is our responsibility to make sure you don't perish. It's our responsibility to make sure you don't die. It is not our responsibility to give you luxury items like childcare. I don't give a rat's ass who you are, folks. What is wrong with you? As you guys can see, I did not do a script this morning. We like scripted Betty. We like scripted Betty, damn it. We're not getting scripted Betty. Damn it. What's wrong with you, lady? Where's my slap? All right, so here's what you guys need to know about the child care. And again, if you guys are recipients of it, just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's going to change your recipients, you getting it. Okay, I don't control the world, but I can tell you this is starting to really piss off the Americans, okay? The middle class Americans, this right here is pissing us straight off. We don't get child care. Child care is by far one of the most expensive bills we can possibly have. And we're footing the bill for what? Again, no!
The Trump administration says that it's freezing all federal child care payments to Minnesota in the wake of a viral video that alleged widespread fraud. The state's Democratic governor accusing the president of politicizing this issue. NBC's senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez is traveling with the president in South Florida.
This morning, a federal investigation into alleged daycare fraud in Minnesota is growing, and the Trump administration says it's halting all federal child care payments to the state.
We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade.
Hold on, let me get back to
Earlier
that.
this week, the Department of Homeland Security posted.
Well, that was good. It kind of froze up right when I needed it to stop. Hold on, let me get back here. So I just want to make this statement. Give it just a second. I want to make this statement right now is this is not just in Minnesota, folks. Okay. This is not in Minnesota. This is actually in all 50 states. Okay. This is not this. I think that it was just in such a large, and I can't even say this is the largest scam because I don't know if we've uncovered all of it. Okay. I really don't. But let me just express this. We found that this same exact con. Hey, Smiley, it's nice to see you. This same exact con is going on in Washington State. We found other cons going on in Canton, Ohio. So it's hitting Ohio. We just got my sheriff here just did a sweep here and arrested and netted, I don't know, a dozen people here in Manatee County. And listen to this, guys. Guess where Jonathan Boley is from? Have any idea? He's one of my kids. He's one of my kids. He's from Manatee County. His mom lives here. I just found out this morning, and it angers me. It angers me to a medical transportation. Yep. Oh, ALFs, we're finding it in ALFs. Anything Medicare, anything that we're federally funded, we're seeing massive scale fraud. And there's no way, I want to inform my audience, there's no way the federal government didn't know. There's no way the Biden administration did not know. I looked at some of these numbers, folks. We were only giving these programs $2.3 million for years and years past. $2.3 million in all honesty, in a federal government where our interest payments are $1 trillion a month. $2.3 million is like $100. Nobody gives a crap. Okay. But when that ballooned to $300 million in a single year, you're telling me not one person considered fraud? It went from $2 million to over $300 million? And nobody questioned a thing? I don't even know what that is. That's like 1,000% increase. It's an ungodly amount. Nobody. You're telling our really smart federal government that knows more about me, that thinks that they know what's better for my health and my body and my mind, soul, and everything else, those really smart people in Washington, D.C., you're telling me that they didn't know that there was fraud? Going from 2.3 million to over 300 million in a single year? Come on, guys. Come on. Are we really that stupid? So everybody wants to know, was the federal government, was a government official involved in this? I believe there's many government officials involved in this. I can't, no matter how I look at this, with my understanding of how the government functions, and how we have this person needs to approve this has to go to theirs for approval, this, and this. Somebody has to sign the check. Another person has to sign the check. Everything is done. Like all of these protocols that go on to sign this check and get payments sent. There's no way in hell this could have been done without government help. Somebody or multiple people in our government helped facilitate this. And my question is, what did they get out of it? Because they had to have gotten something. Nobody's going to do billions of dollars in fraud, put their neck out there, and not be rewarded with some type of financial windfall. So who is having, besides Elon Omar, who else is having this major financial windfall? Well, we did see a huge financial windfall for Marjorie Taylor Greene. Does she have anything to do with it? I certainly do not know. But I'm just saying, she's got an awful lot of money for herself in a matter of itty-bitty amount of time. She only had $700,000 coming in, which was a hell of a lot more than Elon Omar. Yet she's got about $24 million and Elon has about $30 million. Okay? So, just saying, how did that happen? I'd like to know.
Past decade.
Earlier this week, the Department of Homeland Security posted video of agents knocking on doors of more than 30 businesses around Minneapolis in an effort, it says, to root out fraud. Overnight, Minnesota's Democratic Governor Tim Walz saying President Trump was politicizing the issue to defund programs that help Minnesotans.
There's no children inside this building.
It all comes after this viral video racked up more than 100 million views online. Right-wing YouTuber Nick Shirley, who describes himself as an independent journalist, says he went to 10.
Let me clarify for the disgusting liberal media, we're not right-wing people. We're normal people. If normal is right-wing, then everybody on the left is the devil. All right? So I'm just putting it out there like that. If you guys don't want to be called the devil, then quit calling us right-winged. This is a normal person doing normal stuff that just believes in the president's MAGA first agenda. That's it. Okay? Not a right-wing nutbag, just wanting change for our country, for the positive, where we're not bent over and taking it up the you-know-what for our government. That's all. Jeez Louisa.
10 child care centers receiving federal and state subsidies and did not see children at the sites. State officials say many of the centers were previously investigated and no fraud was uncovered, adding 9 of the 10 daycare centers featured in the video are still operating and receiving taxpayer subsidies.
While we have questions about some of the methods that were used in the video, we do take the concerns that the video raises about fraud very seriously.
The director.
As you can see, these people They knew what was going on. I could tell by this lady here, just her word salad. She knew what was going on. She didn't care. And now they're all caught with their pants down. They're like, and shame us for finding it and uncovering it, right? I have never seen, they're literally trying to avoid putting daycares on the roll to show that they're receiving federal funds because of this story. The politicians, they want to make sure that the fraud can continue. They literally are trying to stop us from finding out the fraud. Don't tell me there's not public politicians involved in this con and scam. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. You know what we need to do? We need to demand that we, the people, can literally poach these people out of Congress. If we get enough people to sign on the dotted line, that we should be able to recall anybody in Congress. Anybody in Congress. That's what we need to do. We need to start taking ownership of our country. These people don't give a shit about us. They look at us and we're just a dollar bill. We're money in their pocket. We're their American dream. While they squash ours.
Of one of the daycares Shirley visits in the video, speaking to NBC affiliate KARE 11, saying his center is operational and that employees are now getting threats.
A lot of people are not feeling safe.
The Justice Department has been running sprawling fraud investigations across multiple social service programs in Minnesota for years, starting during the Biden administration. Some of those charged have included members of the state's large Somali community, which has led to President Trump ramping up his rhetoric.
We always take people from Somalia, places.
That's rhetoric. You don't want to hear. We take people from shitholes. And we let them come over here and rob us blind. Is that PC enough for you?
That are a disaster.
So then we have the officials coming out to shame us, to Bleeding Heart. Oh my God, shame on you for finding out our fraud. Oh my God. How dare you?
Department of Health and Human Services froze $185 million for childcare in Minnesota and created new verification requirements for businesses to be able to be reimbursed.
Public schools have count day on Wednesday to receive funding each month. Yeah.
Minnesota Democrats are criticizing the president for this temporary pause.
We're taking fraud seriously. We're working every day to improve our systems, hold those criminals accountable, and
to improve your systems. We're hearing numbers that 50% and on up to almost 75% of the funds were defrauded out of the state. I don't think there's a public politician that can fix this shit except abolition. Abolition! That's the only way you're going to get it, baby. It's time to abolish this stuff. I'm sorry, folks. We cannot be the poor's piggy bank, okay? We keep them alive. We keep them surviving. We should give them free education, not free money, okay? If we gave people that were struggling free education and stuff to keep them on their feet until they got through their education, our country would be a lot better, and we would have a lot less people on welfare, and we'd have a lot more people holding their head up high. I am sick of the government telling people that they are worthless. They're only worth what the government gives them. You are not. You are worth so much more than that. And I feel so many people sell themselves short. They sell themselves short because they don't believe in themselves. And I think that you guys need to start believing in yourself. If you come across this video and things have hurt your feelings that I have said, then maybe it's time for you to take some internal reflection and find out, is this truly what you want for your life? Because I don't want to be anybody's bitch. Let's be honest, right? I don't want anybody telling me what I can do, how I can do it, when I can do it, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm not going to be anybody's biatch. And I feel like being on welfare is being the government's bitch, okay? And that is the one thing I refuse to be. Right? Everybody wants to talk about oppression. What's more oppressed than being on the tit of a government? That's oppression. So if you want to ditch oppression, I think we need to be handing out, we need to be throwing out college educations, educational services. Can you imagine what this world would be like if we handed out education, higher education versus money? Quit robbing Social Security. Amen to that. Amen to that. That system right there with all the people for all the years donate, that should be so well stocked with funds that it's unbelievable. Social Security. It should be the best account that we have in this country, because so many people donated into it. That money was invested. It was making money. It was going to be the the retirement accounts, if you will, of the American people that paid into it. And every time they got jammed up, oh, well, we got social, let's go rob, pilter this, until it's looking like they stole money from, the government stole the American people's money. They stole, that wasn't their money. This was to have something for when we retired. This wasn't for the government. This wasn't a tax. This was like an IRA for the American people. And they went in there and took the money out. They stole from us. That wasn't their money. It was ours. We weren't supposed to pay that money. They said, hey, if you start paying this money, we're going to make sure that you're okay whenever you're ready to retire. And we're like, that sounds like a great idea. Invest in our future. And many people went on and voted for it, and it's just been a slush fund for our government ever since. And every time we turn around, they keep increasing the age. Like, what do you want us to do? You want us to work until we literally fall into the grave? Yeah, let's get socialism. I'm sure that's going to improve. Right? So I thought this was interesting that everybody needs to know. We're not fighting just on this front, on the fraudulent front, but these immigration judges, Trump's firing them. So more immigration judges continue to be fired by Donald Trump administration. More than 100 immigration judges were fired in 2025 nationwide, and more than 21 immigration judges serving the San Francisco Bay Area have been fired. 5 San Francisco judges fired in the same week. Almost all the immigration judges have been fired in San Francisco were allowing illegals to stay in America at 2 times the national average rate, sucking our benefits for 2 additional years. You guys, I want you guys to quit working for 2 years and see how long it takes before you collapse. I guarantee within 3 months you're probably going to be in the food line, right? Yet these people were able to come here and suck the tit. Like, it doesn't it seem like these people were really working hard to bankrupt America? And you have to ask yourself, why would our politicians that we put in office to help us, why would they want to bankrupt us? Because when they bankrupt us, then they take control. They take control. That's what our government tried to do to us, folks. I hope you guys are paying attention, because 2026 is coming, folks. And we've got to maintain power. I mean, it is getting to the point where we've all been waiting for this line. Even Kennedy, back when Kennedy was in office, before they, him, he knew that this was coming. And this was many, many years ago. This stuff doesn't happen overnight. It's a progression. We're here. It is knocking on our door. We have got to stop. I understand you guys are just wanting to be trendy. Trendy is costing us a lot of lives, folks. Trendy is costing us a lot of lives.
We're following the story as immigration advocates are sounding the alarm as more immigration judges are getting fired in San Francisco.
ABC 7 News reporter Luz Pena spoke with one of them who was fired a week before Thanksgiving and is now speaking out about what happened.
Of course, they're all speaking out. They weren't doing their freaking job. They should have been fired years ago. And now they're speaking out. Oh, the bleeding hearts of not following the law. these pig judges.
Luz is here with the story. Luz.
Yes, Ann and Larry, nationwide, ABC News reports more than 100 immigration judges have been fired this year, many in the Bay Area, something that is set to impact the immigration backlog from months to multiple years. At least 21 immigration judges serving the San Francisco Bay Area have been fired. Sources telling us many without reason or explanation.
I think there's reason. You've allowed people to stay in this country for 2 years, longer than the national average. That's a total failure. That's a total failure. That is something that is not without cause. They can literally see that before this time, you guys were pushing these people out of the country. Then boom, we get here, and you guys are just letting them eat our resources up for political purposes, not even following the law.
Disappointed in the decision to dismantle the courts in such a way. I had several cases to hear.
Yeah, he looks like this is a judge that I wouldn't want to overseeing my court hearing. And you're overseeing, look at him. Total failure. This guy's a total failure. Total failure. Anyways, we're getting off of this. We got more pressing subjects to discuss. Like a beautiful young boy that was in Alabama, Walker, Alabama, has not been seen or heard from since. It sounds like the dog that is also missing disappeared around December 26th, and nobody has seen him. Now, what has been frustrating me with this whole entire, hey, nerdy girl, it's nice to see you. What's really been frustrating me with this entire situation here is the fact of his age. Okay, he was 4 years old, then they came back and corrected it to 5 years old. Now they're back to he's 4 years old. They listed him with blue eyes, and he has brown eyes. Now, I'm not saying that this is law enforcement's fault. I'm not angry with law enforcement over this. I am angry with his father, that his father didn't even know what his age was or what the blessed color of his child's eyes are. That is frustrating to me. We're also learning, because we're going to be playing this as well, so you guys can hear what is going on. But I also had Matt Thibodeau and listened to his report. Now, I'm not going to play this because he just dropped this, and if you guys know anything about me, I like people to have some time to get their own views, and not only that, but I was able to go through it and get some bullet points on what he was talking about here. But please, if you'd like to hear his reporting on it, please go and check him out here on YouTube. But according to him, Jonathan Boley was born in April, that an aunt came out and clarified April. So he would not be turning 5 until this coming April 2026. So he truly is 4 years old. The flyer has him listed as having blue eyes, but they're saying his eyes are actually brown. He was not living with his father, which we realized that yesterday when we went through the case, and we realized that there was something here. Mom was going in. We looked a little deeper and realized, wait a minute, this child his father does not have custody of him. He was just there for a visitation for holiday. I thought it was for the holiday weekend, and it wasn't. It was just an annual 5-day visit. So he wasn't even there but 5 days. And then the most problematic, now again, this is where my caveat came in, that's, this stuff is fluid, that this might be up for changing. This may not be 100% factual. I'm digging into it, but we're hearing that the grandfather is the one that actually reported this child missing, not the father, and that Jamison, the father, was gone or failed to report this child after not seeing this child for over an hour and a half before reporting missing. We're hearing from neighbors that he is a bad dude. He started getting into building or blowing stuff up, getting with the explosives and stuff like that about 5 years ago. This father, Jamison, has been riddled with a prior history of violence. 2 different orders of protection, much like Chris, right? He has 6 children total and none that is in his custody. He had an order of protection in 2018 and 2021. The 2021 was by these children's mother, where she cited that she was concerned that the father will kill her or her children. And this is so creepy because, again, we find out he is most likely deceased. Now they're not saying that. They haven't come out and said that yet, but we've seen this before. I've never lied to my audience, and we're kind of seeing where this case is moving and how it's progressing. And I can tell you just in my experience, while it's just hey, Gypsy, it's nice to see you, love. Me and you, good morning. Be Betty fan. Nice to see you. We're hearing that, we've seen this before. The child's been missing. We're now finding out from some neighbors that the last time the dog was seen on the trail cameras every single day. Okay, so this is very, very important. A dog has been seen for a really long time, every single day on the trail camera. On 12/26 was the first time the dog was not on the trail camera. The dog has not been on the trail camera since. Hey, Army Vet, it's nice to see you, love. Honey Dip, good morning. Happy New Year to you guys, too. It's nice to see you. So now it's taking us to this child most likely lost his life right around the 26th, not the 31st when he was reported missing. It seems like potentially the day he arrived. If the child was only there for 5 days, folks, this is very concerning. This is very, very, very concerning. And so it very well could have been premeditated as well. But there was another boy. It sounds like they had 2 children. The other boy was older. And it sounds like he told them that he saw his brother walking toward the fence. I have a funny feeling we're going to find out that that's not true and that the father coached the son. I have a funny feeling we're going to learn. But nothing that I can say definitively. That's all speculative. But we do definitely have violence and DV as a major concern in this father's history. So that's never good. We know that substances, alcohol, and DV make for terrible, good people doing terrible things. Was he always a terrible person? I don't know, but it sounds like even his neighbors do not like him. We're going to dive into this just a little bit, folks. So I did want to go over that. And we'll start it off with the latest update from the sheriff.
A call about a missing 4-year-old turned out to be a missing 5-year-old at 12:28 yesterday. Once law enforcement deputies got on the scene, they cleared the residence with RPS just to make sure that the children weren't hiding in the house. Once we were able to determine that the children weren't hiding inside the residence, we got our drones in the air, aviation support from Aaliyah, Jefferson County. So we've been working ground crews since about 1:15 and drones and aviation using thermals and things of that nature.
He's ex-military.
Used Donaldson K9s yesterday. We went all the way through the night to about...
If he's ex-military, man, we got another... just in my opinion, I feel like we have potentially another Travis Decker situation here. Well, I'm not liking how this... As soon as he told us and the dog was not on, I knew, as soon as I heard that the dog was not on the camera, the trail camera on the 26th, I knew something bad had happened. But we have to think about this. Now that I know he's military, that means we have to add another criteria in this. And that criteria is self-harm. Self-harm. When somebody is in a self-harm or PTSD type of situation, they can do some things. Even though he's not gone, he still may have planned to take his son out because maybe family annihilation type of situation, which does go into a self-harm mentality as well. So I got a problem with this, and I got a problem with the fact that there were so many explosive devices around the property. I found some of them were duds or not, real actual explosive devices. So they were able to get in and start doing. Oh, you're going to hear all this in just a second, but I don't know. This is not. If this child was only there for 5 days, I mean, we can backtrack. Like this child was. The 26th, the dog disappears. It seems like this child was deceased the minute this child showed up. And why would he unalive this child and not the older child? And I think you guys need to go watch Matt Thibodeau, because he does imply some other things that you guys might want to hear. I think might interest you.
3 o'clock in the morning, the aviation went to refuel. We started back up this morning. This morning, we had an overwhelming response of individuals from the community, surrounding communities, who wanted to come out and help search and help us find this missing 5-year-old. Now, as far as an update, obviously this morning when we briefed, we made sure that people understand the father has been charged. It's nothing to do with the connection of the missing child. It's something totally separate, but it's still a factor that is hindering our search. Okay, we have a search warrant for the property. That they're having to take care of some explosive devices before we can actually get inside the residence and start doing a thorough search. There's been evidence of explosive devices on the property during the search, and we have suspended the search for civilians. We've asked them to refrain from searching at this time until we're able. We have identified at least 8 other potential explosive devices. We do not believe that they're charged, but I cannot say that to be sure until they're examined by the FBI bomb and explosives team.
So we know a few things. They've got professional bomb explosives and the FBI on the scene. They went ahead and arrested the father. If you guys didn't pick up, it was for these explosive. He was arrested for the explosives, which in all fairness, he should have been, right? Those are dangerous, and makes you wonder, did, possibly his son, maybe that explains why only one son is gone with a dog. Maybe his son found one of these devices, these very, very dangerous devices, and being probably a rambunctious 4-year-old child decides to run around and shake it thinking it's a toy. I mean, I would really hate to think that this father made a decision to take out his youngest son. And again, the reason why I'm looking at this avenue is because the dog is missing, not the other boy, the dog. And so you could reasonably, deduct, not that this is accurate, but you could reasonably deduct that we have explosives on the property. We have a boy and a dog, which I can see a 4-year-old boy wanting to play with the dog. No? And so maybe the older brother wanted to watch TV or play video games. We don't know the dynamic in that house, if there were video games or whatever. We do know that the father has had violent tendencies in the past, and he has been arrested on these explosive charges. And there's explosives lying around a house with a 4-year-old child. This does not make for good parenting, to say the least. I think there would be signs of an explosion, though. I agree with that. And there's also another hole in that theory as well. And it's the neighbors. The neighbors talk about him blowing off those pipe bombs in the past and how it has rattled their property or rattled their home, that it was so loud that it rattled their windows or home. I can't remember exactly the words that they used, but there's another theory in that too, because nobody said we heard an explosion of any kind. So there are some holes in that theory, no doubt. That's why it's a theory, but it is a theory that does coincide with why the young boy and a dog is missing. It also coincides with this father being violent to the young boy and a dog coming to the rescue, and both of them being injured to death. it does coincide with a theory like that as well. But there is a reason why the dog and the child are deceased. So I'm trying to find out, any theories that go with that, because that's really what we're kind of looking at. I don't think that we're going to have a situation where the boy was injured and unalived and the dog ended up dying from natural causes or, whatever, running away. But there's also another theory that could be plausible as well, and that is truly that this child and the dog did wander off. And, it being Alabama, maybe I think Alabama's fairly flat. I don't think there's any like mountains or things like that, but I have to think that there's some voids in, the property, that there's, also gators and other things that could be out there in the Alabama area. Was there a swampy area out there? Is there stuff like bears or, other type of animals that could have hurt him? And again, we're going to see evidence of that as well. I mean, if there's an animal attack, you're going to see it. But for this child just to poof be gone, and the dog and no signs of anything, it's, I think we're going to have to be looking at this like we're looking at the Sebastian Rogers case. But yeah, but if, the brother truly did watch this child walk off, then, we're looking at another, maybe an environmental threat versus a parental threat. But because they arrested the father on these explosive charges, I have to think that if the son did misrepresent the truth, once the son saw his mother, I'd have to think that he would have came clean, and maybe the reason why they went ahead and arrested the father on these explosive charges. I don't know. I'm not sure. We don't know what kind of information they're getting behind the scenes, but I can tell you this sheriff here, I feel it. I can see it. He's not a sheriff to mess with. He's no Eric Craddock. He's no Sheriff Snuggle Struggles. He's a true blue, wants to get this case solved. Don't get in his way, mess with him type of sheriff. He's my kind of sheriff. Whether tomorrow he may not be my kind of sheriff, today he is my kind of sheriff, right? And it seems like he wants to get to the bottom of this, and he's going to always have any officer that's going to pull out all the stops to get to the bottom of a story and not just take the parent's word for it and do whatever they can to get a parent behind bars when things like this happen, the low-hanging fruit we talk about. This officer is doing everything that we think here on the Bullhorn Betty channel needs to happen in cases like this when you can't find the body, and they're doing it. So I'm not, the sheriff's going to get nothing but kudos from the Bullhorn Betty channel at this point. We're going to continue to say thank you for your service. Thank you for your men and women's service that are out there trying to bring this baby home. Thank you for your service. That's what they get from us.
So we've got those 8 spots that's across the street marked and identified, waiting on them to assess the situation.
And do you guys have any kind of indication on why these explosive devices may have been on the property to begin with?
The father's prior military. It's just something that neighbors have said they've been hearing explosions for weeks now.
Oh!
They didn't really know where it was coming from. The morning before.
Whoa! Whoa! That's not good. The Way Home. Oh, wow. That'd give me the creeps. Well, we're all probably going to be on Netflix watching that movie tonight. The Way Home. Oh, my gosh. They've been hearing these explosions. We didn't hear this. I didn't hear this. Okay, guys. I watched the first, 2 minutes of this. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just wait until I get online. And I went ahead. I didn't get this far into it. I stopped back here. And now we're finding out that there were explosions leading up to this disappearance. I don't like that, folks. Because there's something that has to explain why the dog and the child is, Explosions for a week, pink mist. I'm still not, what does the pink mist do? Can somebody just explain? Because I keep seeing pink mist, pink mist. What does it do? I mean, I know you're saying that it's what's left after the explosion, but what does it do? Does it harm you? Like, is it, I mean, like, I think you, I think you're getting my question. I just want to know, like what does it do to you? Vicky's like, that's a good movie. What is pink mist? That's what I'd like to know. Neighbors heard explosions at 4 a.m. prior to Jonathan going missing. So there's definitely evidence that there's been explosions going on. Pink mist does nothing. Okay, I gotcha. Okay, I just didn't. I knew it was part of the, but because you kept saying pink mist question mark, it sounded like does the pink mist may have done something to someone, and I was just trying to figure out what the pink mist is and if it what effects it has. So that was clarifying. Thank you. I don't like this.
FBI bomb explosives team. So we've got those 8 spots that's across the street marked and identified, waiting on them to assess the situation.
So that's where I left off, right there, right? And I'm like, okay, well, this is going to go in. So I went around and grabbed it. Well, they start talking about this about another 20 seconds in. So let's listen to it from this point forward. This is going to give me problems. Now, how is this going to change? Now, if we're hearing 4 a.m., we're going to have to obviously discuss this.
Do you guys have any kind of indication on why these explosive devices may have been on the property?
How long?
The father's prior military,
How long of these, it sounded like she was asking how long these devices may have been on the property. And he's going into talking about his prior military. Again, it gives me some concerns with the military, not just, with the explosives, but also the mental aspect of it. It's hard because we honor and respect our military, but we also realize that our government's not taking care of our military like they should be taking care of our military, and our military personnel are coming back here really messed up, and they're getting very limited services to help them, and this is the result of that. Okay, this is why when you guys see me out there and pushing for vet services, pushing for wraparound services and stuff like that, it's because of this right here. Okay, this is becoming a lethal problem in America for people that wanted to serve our country. But what they see overseas, what they have to go through, what they have to witness, the stuff that they have to do, it screws people up. Okay, it screws people up. They have to deprogram somehow. And they don't. They bring our military back here, throw them out there in the world with the rest of us, and like, oh, these are your friends. When they're coming from war-torn areas where they can't even go to sleep or trust to have their back, exposed. People don't understand. It's a mentality that you have to be in war-torn areas. And when you come back and you're not deprogrammed from that, it has lifelong problems. And our government deprograms nobody, right? We spend millions and millions of dollars to program our veterans to be battle, ready. But when they're retired, we don't deprogram them. And they've got a lot of messed up stuff going on in them, especially if they were in active war. I see the results of it just with my best friend's son. Okay? He was in active war. And I see how messed up, that has made him from before he went to who he is today. There's just not enough services out there. They're not putting enough services here. So, are we dealing with a situation where he snapped like Travis Decker did? It's possible. Or could this child have been up unsupervised and got a hold of one of these devices? You know? I don't know. I don't know. Let's listen.
It's just something that neighbors have said they've been hearing explosions for weeks now. They didn't really know where it was coming from.
They've been hearing explosions for weeks now. They didn't know where it was coming from.
The morning before the report came in, one of the neighbors reported that they heard an explosion about 4 a.m.
There it is, the 4 a.m. explosion. This is concerning because this was the day before he was reported missing, although we haven't seen a dog since the 26th, which is, again, very concerning, but that dog may have very well came across another explosion, right? The dog may have been taken out by another explosion. We've heard multiple explosions on this property for weeks. And the part about this, weeks, means that the child was not there when these started. So this guy could have done something before his children got there, placed all these all around the house, you know, in one of his manic moments, or maybe when he wasn't even quite all there, and maybe forgot about him. Or, I mean, I don't know. I feel like these explosions, because there's another kid that's there, and it seems like if he was like a family annihilator, he would have taken the other kid out too. So I'm just, you know, there are some factors here that are not just saying that this guy, you know, that there may have been some negligence here as opposed to intent, if that makes sense. I'm trying to be very careful here because we've got two serious things going on. We know that there's explosives on this property, and we had a 4-year-old boy that is not accustomed to this property. That's the problem.
That morning, they just didn't know where it came from. Can't say that that's in any kind of connection to the missing child. I will say this, that, you know, we've been going on now well over 24 hours of looking for the child, and we have not gotten really any indication of the child being in the woods. We've got no thermal, no image.
That means they've gotten no hits. So the story about this child running off to the woods sounds like it's a dud, much like Sebastian walking out, you know, the front door of his home and never being seen again. It seems like that was just a story. It was a ruse. It wasn't truthful. And again, his young son is the one that told him that he saw his younger brother, you know, going toward that area. This officer is saying that it you know, doesn't sound like it's true. So I have to believe that there was some coaching involved. I think when mom came back, I think they realized the coaching was involved because mom, I'm pretty sure, looked at the son and said, "You've got to speak. What the hell happened here?" And, you know, being a young boy, he probably trusted his mom because that's who he spends most of his time with. So I think some other information has come out from the other child on the property that implies he was coached or was told to say this or told to say that. We don't know what law enforcement has, but this is not looking good, folks.
Imagery from the helicopter and drones. Ground searches hasn't revealed anything to my knowledge. If it has, it's nothing that Instant Command has made me aware of at this time. But other than the potential for explosive devices found on the other side of the roadway from the original property that we started at.
And are those 8 devices, are they near any homes, or is there any concern for the people who live on
Wooded areas. Yes.
Sheriff, you mentioned that the civilians...
Why would he have all of these devices in wooded areas? You know, I think, well, Army Vet's here. I have to assume that Army Vet's got Army Vet name because Army Vet's an Army Vet. It's just it's just the way my brain thinks. I could be wrong. But I'd have to think that this guy was exhibiting some PTSD if he's, you know, putting pipe bombs around his property in the woods. He's getting very paranoid that somebody is going to be coming up on him or something, and he's leaving booby traps. It sounds like the FBI acted fast. Thermal drones can sometimes reveal recent footprints, disturbed ground. Nothing was found. Wow, that's interesting. Thanks for providing that. Nothing was found. Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. I think he has 6 children from previous. Yes, he does. I don't know how many each of them have. I just heard 6 children. I don't know if it's only 2 women. I do know 2 women were identified because of the orders of protection, but I don't know if the 6 children are only to those 2 people. I'm unclear about that. Maybe I'll find something that clarifies that. If you guys do have information and I say something like I'm not sure about this or I'm not sure about that, and you know that this report will clarify that for me, send that over to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. We're looking at this case. Okay. It's not a case that I feel like we need to go and be boots on the ground or anything like that for this young boy, because I don't believe that this young boy is in the woods. If I thought he was in the woods, I'd be out there searching in the wood. This is a day trip for me. But I don't believe he's out in the woods. The father was gone for an hour and a half while his child was missing, because we've learned that it was over an hour and a half before reporting the child missing. We're also hearing about this 4 a.m. explosion, and the fact that he is littering this wooded area around his house with these explosive devices. So he's definitely got, at least in my opinion, exhibiting some paranoia patterns, which I could attribute being an Army vet, or military vet, as being partly PTSD, I would presume. Not an authority on the matter, but just my common sense is kind of leading me that way.
Search has been suspended, or law enforcement still out?
So right now it's law enforcement, first responders, fire departments. We're still doing our stuff. As far as just the citizens and volunteers that's come to volunteer, we're going to put that to a halt for right now.
Are you asking for anything? I know you're not asking for volunteers right now, but is there food donations?
Hey, little Shawnee.
Anything people can do to support them?
Yeah, so we do have a group of volunteers here that are accepting food, trying to make sure that everybody's here that's fed and hydrated throughout this process. And like I said, it's been an overwhelming response. Everybody's concerned about this child. Obviously, when you talk about the last 24 hours, the weather conditions and things of that nature, for it to be a 5-year-old out there is very concerning.
And we also have to think, though, the 4 a.m., I don't see a 5-year-old child being up at 4 a.m., but the explosion aspect of it is concerning for me, because the father could have been destroying evidence the day before he needed to call law enforcement to report his child missing. I'm still going to keep going back to the dog, because the dog was missing. The dog was there on the 25th. The dog was not there on the 26th. We have a child missing. I know that this 4 a.m. kaboom, that sounds like something a father, that somebody is up pretty late doing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Crystal Clear, it's nice to see you. I don't know. I just feel like there are... Did the boy's mom know? I'm pretty sure the answer is probably not. I don't think the mother was concerned. I mean, she even told the judge that she was concerned that Jameson would kill her or them at some point. And so I doubt very highly that the mom knew that there was explosives on the property. I mean, think about it. I mean, does any of us actually think that we're sending our child, even the people that are military or have military exes? Do you honestly think that do you ask your military, do you have explosive devices around your house? I mean, we don't ask. I mean, I'm not making fun of you or anything like that. I'm just letting you know, because this wouldn't be something I would think to ask. And I'm in true crime. I don't think that any mother would allow their child to she divorced this man to protect her kids. I can't imagine that she would know. I mean, Angela, it's like asking you, would you let your child? Of course not, right? No, I don't think so at all. I think if she knew that there were some there, she would have had his ass in court and made sure her son didn't go to the house, But the 4 a.m., I just don't see a little boy being up at 4 a.m. That sounds like if it was coming from the house or associated with the house, it sounds like the father destroying evidence. Well, let's face it, Passion Flower, none of this is normal, right? It's not normal to have explosive devices around your house? I mean, how many, well, I guess nobody should answer the question, but how many of you guys have explosive devices just lying around your house, okay? I'm sorry. I mean, we've got military in our chat, okay? I know there's a lot of you guys that are here that have been in the military, and I doubt that you guys have bomb-making materials or explosive devices just laying around your house, okay? I don't know. Then the system made her send. That's where I'm at. So I want to find out where this system is. I'm hoping that it was, Alabama, not Florida. And I say that, you're like, how can you say that? Because I don't want it to be in my state. I don't want my state to be there to have blood on their hands, right? Because it's gonna unnerve me. Because this kid is coming from Manatee County, okay? And you guys don't understand. I will show up to a judge's home with a bullhorn, okay? You guys don't know me when it comes to kids in my community, okay? Nobody wants to, I don't want this coming up on my front door. Now, I'm praying to God. I don't think any of our judges here in Manatee County would do this, especially with the history that we've got here. But, I don't know. Do we have bleeding hearts here in Manatee County? I don't know. But this child's from my county, okay? If you guys have not gotten that, and it's I feel some type of way about this.
I want to ask you about the dog that the child was reported to be seen with. You mentioned that the last time the dog had been seen on a neighbor's camera was the 26th. Can you kind of just clarify that for me?
Yes, so the canine has not been located as well, so the canine is still missing. Talking to one of the neighbors, is that dog showed up pretty much every day on their game cameras at their corn feeder. The last time that he has the dog on his camera was on the 26th, the afternoon of the 26th.
See, that's my problem.
You mentioned at the beginning about children. So were there other children in the home?
That's my problem right there. That's my problem right there, folks. Because this dog is missing, and this dog went missing on the 26th, like literally the day this child showed up. But if it was the grandfather that reported this child missing, there's definitely something there's some detail that the law enforcement's not explaining to us, nor is anybody else, the dynamic of Jameson and his dad, the Jonathan's grandfather. There's some dynamic here. There's a reason why the grandfather thought to report this child, if that's true, and we find out it was Jameson's dad that reported Jonathan missing. Well, there's something that prompted his father to report this child missing. There was some threat that his father was concerned about. And I want to know at what time was his father concerned about the grandson when he reported him missing. And again, over an hour and a half, allegedly, if this child, but I'm not liking this whole December 26th. Now, it could be as crazy as the Manuel Haro, right? We were looking at that. We realized that she was doing weird things on August 5th and August 7th. And so we thought that maybe this child had died even further back before the 10th, and come to find out it was the 14th that they believed this child died. And so now we're kind of here, obviously this child did not lose his life or were kidnapped when Rebecca Haro reported this child missing. It had happened days before. Is this another example of that type of situation where this child lost his life days before and they are just now getting around to reporting this child as missing, and it literally being the grandfather? Now, I'm just trying to figure out what is going on here, and what was this mother going to expect arriving if nobody had reported this child missing? Because, again, it wasn't the father that reported this child missing, it was the grandfather. Nobody had reported this child missing. Nobody said that this child was missing. Mom's loading on a plane to come back to Alabama to pick up her kids, and nobody is saying this. Was he waiting for the mom to get there and the family annihilation be complete? You see where I'm going with this. It's a theory. It's not set in stone, but it is something that, could be an angle. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just saying this case defies all types of logic, and we're dealing with a person that looks like was having some mental breakdown issues.
The father?
No, it was just the brother.
That's what I'm hearing.
Two brothers, yeah, age 5 and 6.
And I know the parents are separate.
So 5 and 6, I think we're there. She's starting to ask about, and we know that it's not 5 and 6; it's 4 and 6. They are brothers. So we're talking about a 6-year-old boy, highly manipulative or manipulatable. Not him being manipulative, but him being able to be manipulated. He's 6 years old. The father could have told him what to say. I think that's what we're going to find out.
Did the father have custody of the children? Was he just taking care of them on holidays?
Yeah, to my knowledge, the custody situation was the father got 5 days of custody a year.
And has he been cooperative? Has he said anything throughout this?
I can't speak on that. You know, the FBI did an interview last night. Obviously, they will follow up once we get our timeline and everything.
I like this. The officer didn't. He made it very clear he's not the one that questioned the father. And I think the reason why the FBI, I don't know who has jurisdiction over this case. Okay, folks, I don't know who has jurisdiction over this case, but it could very well be an FBI case, and here's why. It may not be, but it could be, and here's why. Because this child was not a citizen of Alabama. This child was a citizen of Florida. That makes this interstate. However, this child was in Alabama at the time. So is this Walker County responsible for this investigation, or has it already been turned over to the FBI? I personally don't know the answers to that, but does it change the investigation? It does. It does. So is the state of Alabama going to maintain this one, or is it going to go to the feds? I don't know. And I don't know because of the reasons why, this child was, but I do kind of feel like this is going to be Alabama. I feel like Alabama, this is going to be their prosecutors that are going to take this home, because most likely the child was unalived in their jurisdiction. So I think it's going to be their jurisdiction, but with this custody situation, him being a resident of Florida, how does that play in with the FBI? I truly don't know.
In order, they'll do some more in-depth interviews and see what we can come up with.
Are they getting cold again overnight? Is there any other plans to use those thermal drones again?
Yes. So the aviation landed. They're bringing their helicopter out of Montgomery to get started back up with the air searches and thermal searches. Yes.
Can you give us an idea of the number of resources that are here? Like, do you know how many total law enforcement? We're seeing a lot of different departments.
Yeah. So I mean, we've got agencies from just the ones I've seen, and I'm sure there's some here that I haven't seen. We have the FBI here, we have SBI here, we have ALEA here. We have Summerton Police here, Jasper Police Department, Adamsville Police Department, Jasper PD. Just locally, I don't know outside in the Jefferson County what agencies that we have here. I've seen some Jefferson County deputies earlier.
We saw some connections to Florida on the mom's side. So is the boy from here, or is he from Florida?
No, the boys, the mother, from my knowledge, moved to Florida about a year ago, and
so it sounds like it was the courts in Alabama, thank God.
the dad gets visitations. Like I said, my understanding of the visitations is 5 days per year.
I know the father that's been charged, you mentioned that there's no connection to disappearance. Is there any indications of criminal element to this disappearance, or is it still too early in the investigation?
It's still too early to say one way or the other.
That
Obviously,
makes sense,
the
little
concern
sis.
is, as you can see, the resources that we have put into searching, the amount of people that we have had out searching, the grid patterns that we have searched. When you take the ground searching plus the air searches, the fact that we haven't found the child is concerning.
At this point, is it still a search, or is it turning more
So we're still going to remain optimistic, and we're going to call it a search.
And is it
So as you guys are seeing, they're even knowing the tone of this. I mean, nobody's expecting to find this baby back, this baby alive at this point. I know that they're saying they're optimistic. I'm not as optimistic, as you guys know, right? He's 4 years old. okay, were on January 2nd. He was reported missing over 48 hours ago. He has not returned. It's in Alabama. We know how cold it's been here in Florida. And you guys have walked out of we have somebody in here from Alabama right now. You guys know how cold your state has been. This is not ripe for a child being out there in the wilderness. And not only that, the dog. This is my problem. It's the dog. Because even if that child wandered off or got stuck or got hurt or got attacked by an animal out there in the wilderness, the dog would have came back home. The dog never came back home. Okay, that's my problem. And so when we look at this and we hear that the dog hasn't been seen or heard from since the 26th, well, my logic starts saying, wait a minute. The child was with the dog disappeared on the 26th, even though they're trying to say that this all happened on the 31st, we know damn good and well from and I'm sure that the neighbors have proved that this dog is on their camera every single day, and then all of a sudden from the 26th on, he's not on the camera at all. He's not on there on the 26th, the 27th, the 28th, the 29th, or the 30th. And this child is reported on the 31st, which is the 5th day. So it sounds like this child disappeared literally the day that this child was dropped off at his home. So I want to know, did this man, Jameson, live with his own father at this house? Because if he did, and this father reported him missing on the 31st, well, then I would feel comfortable that he kind of went missing closer to that 31st area. But if the father didn't, wasn't there, and only was there when this child was picked up and came by to get them ready because their mom, or say goodbye to them because their mom is missing, and says, where's Jonathan? And he's like, oh, he went running around with the dog. Well, when's the last time you saw him? Well, about an hour and a half ago. Have you looked for him? Well, no. Then the grandfather wouldn't have known what day was the last time he was around the house. So we still have a lot of questions to ask, to find out, and some more details before we can piece a lot of this stuff together. But I think if the grandfather's the one that called this child missing, or child in missing, we need to hear more about what preempted him to make the call. Was his son acting weird? Was he there? When was the last time he personally saw his grandson? There's just still a lot of information, but it sounds like everybody knows that Jameson is an issue. Sounds like the neighbors were concerned with him, a lot of stuff. So let's just keep going. We've still got a lot more to go over related to this case. And I've pulled up the Truth Finder report on Jameson, the father.
That there were 8 explosive devices on this side of the road. Do you know how many yet were at the property?
I have not briefed. We're briefing here in the next 30 minutes or so with the FBI and all the agencies to kind of get that. Everybody is doing their own thing. The FBI has been processing the house, trying to get the explosive devices contained and out of the residence since, I guess, about 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning. So they're still working on that. So once we get everybody back in, all the agencies together and kind of go over what we have accomplished today and see where we're at and see what the next phase of this is going to be.
Sure. Can you give a plea to the public who lives in this area? You've been mentioning a lot about trail cams, deer cams, everything. Just want to give you a chance to kind of talk about how important it is to turn over that video and where to turn it to.
Yes. So right now we're working on a tip line with the FBI. That way individuals, and I will release that information when we get it available to where we can get a centralized where.
Guys, they don't even have the tip line set up yet, which I'm not dogging this. I mean, this stuff, when you're not used to this stuff, I doubt this small little community in Alabama is used to, this kind of attention. Okay. So I don't anticipate them having the type of resources that they need to do this, but they are getting that stuff set up. But it is a cautious area, because I'm going to tell everybody, if you have, video, check your video footage. If you're in this area, hold that video footage until you guys can turn it in, or call law enforcement and just turn it in. If you're from Walker County, and you have video for that day, just go and just pull it, download it, and take it on up to Walker County Sheriff's Department so they have it. There's no point in even going through it, looking at it, seeing if there's anything on it. Let them do it, okay? You never know what they need. You never know what they're looking for. You might be looking for a child walking down the road, and they're looking for a car. You see what I'm saying? So if you're in this area, even though they don't have their tip line set up, Just pull your videos and take it up there to them. If you know anything, know this family, have any information about the father, his whereabouts from the 25th to the 31st, please reach out to law enforcement in Walker County. I'll try to, on the next live, get the number for the county up in the system, so if you guys have it, you guys can make sure you call this
all the tips
information
aren't
in.
spread out to everywhere, where there'll be one hub of information we'll be able to go to, and they will be able to send it to that. I encourage the public to, one, if you live in this area, be vigilant. Look under your cars if you haven't drove them in a few days. Look in your garages, look in your carports, look anywhere where a child would be looking to get, out of the elements.
And is the mother here? Have you spoken to her? How is she?
The mother did make it in last night from Florida. We have spoken to her, and she has cooperated with us to the best of her abilities.
How big is this?
To the best of her, because you know what? At the end of the day, law enforcement is going to be honest with her. Okay, they're not telling us, not telling the public, but they're going to be a little more forthcoming behind closed doors. And I guarantee they're already telling Mom this isn't looking good, and that's why he's saying this stuff, because she knew. Okay, she knew sending her child was a threat. She knew. And it doesn't matter. She did everything she could. I mean, she had this limited so much that this man could only see his kids 5 days a year. That was it. One time in an entire year. Good morning, No Clue. Happy New Year, love. I hope you're doing well. So it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, This is why when I started out my conversation, it has to do with the parents that abuse the family court system. This child's blood is on your hands. If you've abused the system, you need to apologize for that, however you possibly can. Because this child's blood's on your hands. All of you. Because if we didn't have to deal with all the lies from the parents and the courts, when parents go there and say, look, my life is in danger and my child's life's in danger, the judges would take that seriously, more seriously than they take it today. Thank you, nerdy girl, because I'm a love machine. Ow! And Ruby received the gifted Bullhorn Betty membership. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room, because we are not.
You know why? Fake news.
Let them 66 gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership, because I'm a love machine. Life interrupts. Welcome to the crazy family, this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room, because we are no...
Oh, come on now. That ain't even bullshit. That's horse shit.
No, it ain't. But what this man did to his son is... we don't know what happened. We just know this isn't good. We know that this isn't good. We know that this child's most likely gone. And I can't imagine being the mother of this child. I can't imagine.
Searching.
I don't know exact mileage or, a route, at this present moment without talking to Instant Command. They're mapping. They got a mapping program that they're mapping everybody in their searches. We're just out here working. We have a lot of resources out here. We're committed to doing everything that we can. We don't want people getting burnt out. I know that we have a lot of people that want to help and they're here. But what we don't need is people that are willing to volunteer to get here day one and day two and get burnt out, and this thing turn into a week-long search, and then we get toward the end of the week and we don't have additional resources and we don't have help from the community.
So he's doing some planning. He's playing the tape through. Thank you, Lisa, because I am the love machine. Lisa gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. Passion Flower, Meganels, Berry Happy, Sweetsy, and Arame Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room and welcome aboard. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for the love and support, y'all, because I'm a love machine. So I get that. You know, he's really planning. He wants this search to continue. He knows the boy is out there. They're trying to find the boy. But, you know, at the end of the day, if this child was missing since the 26th, which is at this point, it's going to be going with my top thought process. We heard the 4 a.m. kaboom, you know, the night before he was reported missing. That has no effect on me. It's the dog. The dog's my guide here because of the neighbors' statements. This dog shows up on their camera all the time. Has been on this camera every single day. And then starting the 26th, they never see the dog again. That's kind of a marker for me, okay? Now, we're not hearing anything about the child. When was the last time any third party saw the child? They're not disclosing that. And I think they're not disclosing, hey, Michelle, my belle, it's nice to see you. Did I hear my name? Good morning, good morning. So it makes me wonder if you know, that kaboom could have been blowing up evidence or other things, but I'm not quite ready to say that was the fate at that moment. I think the fate came earlier on, and I really am interested in the grandfather, Jameson's dad. I'm very interested in finding out what he knows. I don't know if they're going to. If you guys find any interviews with families or friends, please send those over to Bullhorn Betty. And of course, go over and hit up Matt Thibodeau. He is, why am I not subscribed to him? That sounds pretty stupid. I thought I was subscribed to him. Huh. Anyways, go to Matt Thibodeau on YouTube. He's got this one here. It had a lot of great information on it. He published this about an hour before we came live, so I do not want to play it here. If you guys want to hear it, please go over there, but you will find out of the changes. He was born in April. He's got brown eyes. They had a 5-day visit. From what we're hearing, the grandfather reported this child missing, and Jameson has been arrested for the explosive charges. It was over an hour and a half before this child was reported missing from what they stated was the last time his father seen him. The father has 6 children and at least 2 orders of protection in the previous past for violence, domestic violence, one in 2018, one in 2021. And of course, on the application for the order of protection, the mom cites she's concerned the father will kill her and her children. Or her children, rather. So that's kind of where we are with that. And then, of course, this is where I found out that this beautiful baby is from my area. Okay. Oh, what happened here? Who just did that? I just see some. Oh my! Sonia gifted 10 Bullhorn Betty memberships. Woo! Woo! Because I'm a love machine. I'm a love machine for all those. We got 10. Nancy Pharmacy, we've got Honey Child, Scranton Strangler. Ooh, Scranton Strangler. I got to look into that case. D, Girl Mom, Back on the Track with Kat. Jenna, a beautiful lie. Ooh, I like that. Oops, I just popped up. Hold on. A Beautiful Lie, Ganja Girl, and Casey were all gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership from Sonia. Don't forget to tell her thank you, and welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room, and Melanie gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership because I'm a love machine, and it went to Clover D Dishes. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Okay, we're going to hear some ding, ding, dings for a little bit while those go through. So it's nice to see you, because now this is where we learn that this beautiful soul is from Manatee County, Florida. And that, I just found that out this morning, and I got to tell you, it pissed me off. It pissed me off that this is one of our kids. And this SOB, I'm glad he's in jail.
Search is set to continue for a 5-year-old. In just a few hours, the search is set to continue for a 5-year-old boy here from the Bay Area, now missing in Alabama. You see him right here, Jonathan Boley, last seen on Wednesday morning in Jasper, Alabama, while visiting his father. He and his mother live in Manatee County. The Episcopal Diocese of Southwest Florida posted this on social media Thursday, saying his mother, Angel Boley, is the guest services director at Day Spring Camp and is now in Alabama this morning to go ahead and help with that search. This is video of that search yesterday. Authorities will be back out there again today using thermal imaging drones. Multiple agencies, including the FBI, searched more than 500 acres on Thursday using drones, divers, tracking dogs, and a helicopter. They say Jonathan's brother last saw him crossing under a fence. The child's father was taken into custody after investigators found suspected explosive devices on the property. At one point, authorities had to call off civilian volunteers out there due to the danger of those explosives.
I'm sorry, guys. It's the explosives. And it's the fact that they weren't by the house. They were across the street and around it in the wooded areas. And we're hearing this child was heading to the wooded areas. And law enforcement hasn't walked that statement back from the brother yet. So until he walks that statement back, and the father was just charged with explosives. Neighbors talking about kabooms all week. Guys, this is not good. I think this child was injured by one of those explosive devices. I really do. To me, it's the only thing that explains why the brother wasn't involved. You know? And what if he used one of them to throw and play fetch with the dog and the dog brought it back? And I mean, oh, good gracious. That might be the only thing. I mean, Alabama, these type of charges, the explosive, which again, it's low hanging fruit. It's not a high, I can see that. I think this day and age where we have terrorism, domestic and international terrorism on our shores, I think that explosive devices or anything with explosive materials should have a bond much higher than that. It should be in the hundreds of thousands because we have just so much violence in our country, and people that shouldn't be able to blow stuff up without being held accountable, He is. He's a beautiful. That's what I said when I saw his hair yesterday when I was first covering this case. I was like, girls, this little boy's hair is going to make you so jealous. It was gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. Long, beautiful blonde hair. It was gorgeous, and very heartbreaking, very heartbreaking. But this is when I found out this young boy was from Manatee County. He's one of our kids. Okay, he's one of my kids. That means he was, going to one of the preschools here in my community. That there's a whole family here that is completely heartbroken right now, And this child was put in danger by his father, it sounds like. Sorry. So I decided I wanted to go through here. We're going to just update this search real quick to see if there's any new information that's coming out. We're getting kind of down to the wire with our show, so we're going to be winding this show down. Please do not forget, tonight at 5:30, we have a call-in show, and this call-in show is going to be where we speak about, or we ask the system that I'm plugging all these interviews in. We're going to be asking the system questions that you guys may have wanted to ask. Now, these can't be pointed questions. They can't be pointed questions if they're like, what time was this? And then it'll explain it. But it really is, it's really going to be good for tone, expression, emotion, some of those things. So I want to make sure that, we have a good, thorough, I'll try to throw, if I can, try to throw in a few other interviews in with this, just to have it stored, so we can ask it questions and we can have it, go from across multiple interviews and stuff like that. But hopefully it'll answer some of the questions that we've been able to have. Now, when you call in, if I think that it's going to, we can always plug in the questions, see what comes out, but there are going to be you guys are going to see a pattern of which questions are going to be more that provide more type of information than other types of questions. So is that for Sebastian? Yes, me and you. That's going to be tonight at 5:30. It's related to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. We've really been diving into going back to the beginning and plugging in my system with a lot of the interviews so we can kind of cross-reference all the interviews together to find out, where are the changes, what are the red flags, and other things of that nature. I've already pulled a new list that I wanted to go over, so we'll be opening with the new list that'll help with this. If you guys have something that you want us to look up, be prepared. If you want me to be prepared with stuff to look up or videos that you want to talk about when you call in, you can send me an email to bullhornbetty@gmail.com with those links, so I'll have them up and ready for when you call in, we can go right to them. So I really think this is going to be a very interesting and very informative live based upon these interviews. Now, granted, the interviews I've only brought up to about March 20th, 2024. Anything past March 20th, 24 has not been plugged into the system, okay? But I think we're March 20th was Smiley Stories World, and that was the one that we left off at. So I'll see what's in the next, what's in the queue next, and start getting that done, between now and then. I don't know if it'll be ready by the time we do the call-in show, but we definitely have at least 6 of the interviews plugged in right now. So we can at least ask questions based upon those 6 interviews and see what comes out. So if you guys are interested in that, please come back here tonight at 5:30 and we'll jump into that. Also, I'm already starting to prepare my package for Jonathan Boley. And I was doing that this morning, but now that I know that he's one of my children here in Manatee County, that kind of changes things for me, because now we need to bring it up at county meetings. We need to make sure that this is not going on, that judges are taking parents seriously here in Manatee County. So this has a whole different tone for advocacy purposes for me here in Manatee County that needs to be addressed as well, with this being one of our children. And this is what I recommend for all of you guys, because I know a lot of you guys are all over the country, but when we have cases and these cases are knocking on your door, I'm hoping that you guys are empowered enough to go to your meetings, your city hall meetings, or your board of county commissioner meetings, and bring up these cases so you guys can start putting in local ordinances in stuff if there's something that needs to be strict, a little stricter in your community, that's already in your laws. So you don't know those things until you start going into your meetings. If you can, this is my suggestion. If you guys can all start pushing your local communities to start putting their meetings online, they should already have them online, so you guys can go and watch the county and city hall meetings. I would recommend that that's where you guys first start, is getting all those online. So even when you can't go to the meetings, you can at least go and find out what's coming up. You need to have an idea of where your agendas are, so you can look at your agendas each week or start reaching out to your politicians. We've got to end the violence in this country. There's a way to do it, and I think we're getting very, very close, but we've got to end the violence in this country. Let me see what we have here, if there's any new updates from law enforcement or other. We do know this child is back to being 4 years old, so you're going to start seeing the 5-year-old, being removed and replaced with 4 years old. I'm kind of frustrated. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of frustrated that it took us 48 hours to find out this child was 4. It's frustrating. And if you guys are doing anything, on Facebook, here's the search. I wanted you guys to see the search of what's going on. These are all the beautiful people that are getting out there on this cold day to look for this young boy. I don't believe this boy is in the woods. I believe something happened to this boy and his father jumped into action and got rid of evidence and had several days to clean up any other additional evidence. So that's just
All right,
my
move out slowly.
So this is a line search. They're looking for any type of evidence or other materials here. This is what you guys do. It's where you guys are kind of armed. Oops. Sorry, let me go back. I accidentally hit something. No, let's not do that. Let's go back. Okay, sorry. Hit something. Don't know what I hit, but this is where everybody gets about, arm's length away from each other, and you guys just look at the ground, and then you just walk in a straight line, and everybody's just looking and from their shoe to the other person's shoe, you're just scanning the entire ground. And in a way it's done is that there's nothing that you guys can pass without at least 2 or 3 eyes on it, and that's what you want. So that's what you're observing here. And then you've got the other people that are out there, just, there it is, the line search. So these are some of the reasons why I don't believe the child's out there. I feel like the child's in, oh, and they do have holes. Look at the voids, and somebody's looking down in the void. So I'm glad to see these things. I'm glad to see all of this stuff, going on here with this young little boy. But I have to assume that this child is gone. Something happened to this child. I don't know whether it was explosive related or if it was violence related, because there are 2 major threats on this property. His father, which has been violent in the past, and the fact that there's all these explosives, and he's a very rambunctious 4-year-old boy. You guys got to remember, look at your 4-year-old children. Some of you guys have grandchildren that are 4 years old. Think about how rambunctious they are. Okay? They're very, very, very rambunctious. And you've got literally explosive devices littered around your property. With the 6-year-old boy alive and healthy, it doesn't seem like the father premeditatively did this. Things could change. It could go both ways at this juncture in this case. But I'm really kind of, and maybe I'm, again, giving a little too much grace to the father, especially since I don't know him. But it doesn't seem like right now we have a whole lot other than this child. It was around explosive devices, and him and the dog are missing. And the brother saying that he watched him go under a fence into the woods. And we just heard law enforcement talk about all of the explosive devices in the woods. So, you do what you need, do what you need to do. But it sounds like, the way this case is, like the kid could have accidentally blew himself up unintentionally, right? Because they didn't know the threat. And again, the father has violence. So there's that aspect too. We got 2 major aspects here. But either way you look at this, it doesn't look, the dog being gone, it looks like this child's deceased. That's the way this case seems like it's playing out, is that this child, something happened to this child. So it's either blunt force trauma or kaboom, in my opinion. I don't think there's really going to be any other story than that. I don't believe law enforcement thinks, and here's why. Because just like Sebastian Rogers' case, folks, there's no scent, okay? There's no trail. There's no trail. This child did not walk out the door. This child doesn't appear to have gone into the woods, according to the statement from law enforcement. They're saying that there was no scent. They don't believe this child's in the woods. So that tells me they believe that the younger child, the 6-year-old child, was coached into saying that. That's the way I'm feeling at this point. So we're going to be investigating this case. We're going to look into this case. We're going to, find out if this is truly what we're seeing here. And if it's that case, if this child was either injured by his father to death, or he was neglected and not watched while moving freely on a very dangerous property, well, you know what? The father should have knew better. You cannot have those types of devices and have a 4-year-old child on your property unsupervised. So we've got to look at that. I mean, this child, it sounds like, was unsupervised and on a property that had explosives lying around the outer perimeter of the property in the direction that allegedly this child was going. So we'll keep putting our ears to the ground, but there's nothing that's giving us any kind of angle on this case just yet, just that a child's missing. Nobody is saying that this child is deceased, but I can see it on the law enforcement's face that this child's not coming home. Okay. I don't know how I see those things. I'm sure if you guys are tuned in, you guys are seeing the same thing I'm seeing, but I'm looking at the behavior of this sheriff, and he's trying to say, he's saying he's positive, but he's not looking very positive. It looks to me like we're dealing with a recovery mission here, trying to bring this poor baby home. And it's unfortunate that that's where we're at, but it sounds like that's where we're at. I don't believe this child would be in the woods. And one of the reasons why I don't believe this child would be in the woods is because even if he had accidentally injured himself, I feel like his father would have went and hid the evidence. So I feel like even if he was kaboom versus being blunt force trauma type of situation, then I would think that the father went to go clean that up. And again, if he was blunt force trauma or violence, from his dad, I would presume that he, again, would not be in the woods. His father would have, cleaned the scene. Therefore, he would have been taken off the property. And that's what we find. Many people, when they do things, they want to say, oh, the child just wandered off, right? Because they can't produce the child. They can't produce the child because if the child's produced, they'll realize that this child didn't just walk off, that this child was harmed by that person and deceased because of the hands of that particular person. So they make up these stories, but then they hide the body. So then the stories don't make sense, kind of like Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. We're all being told that he just wandered off with no evidence of him wandering off. And if he had just wandered off, certainly they would have found him by now, and he has never been found. So they hid him. And if they hid him, then he most likely didn't walk out of the house, because if he walked out of the house, who would need to hide him? So it's one of those situations. And I kind of believe that that's what we're dealing with here. So either way you look at it, Dad's bad news. Dad was part of the military, and he might be breaking. This might be a mental health issue. Again, with another military trained person. I don't get it. Our military has to be stepping up to the plate. If you're going to turn our people, our citizens, into killing and fighting machines, you've got to deprogram them when they come home. Because it's not fair to them. It's not fair to our military personnel. These are not the people. They went into the military to help the country. They don't want to hurt their family. They want to protect their family. So if they're hurting their family, then there's something that happened to them while they were in the military. That's the way I look at things. Does that mean it's 100% accurate? No, but it's close to accurate than not accurate. So we've got to do more in our military. So if I do have some political and patriotic fighters out there that go to your rooms of your city hall, your boards, even your state legislature, for you guys, we need to be pushing more services for our military, because the less we give them, the more cases like this we're going to keep coming up with. Okay? This is just off the back of Travis Decker. We had one at the beginning of the year and one at the end of the year. I don't like this. We've got to do more militarily with our veterans. Our veterans should not be sleeping on the road. They should be having, anytime any veteran has any type of mental health services, those should go to the top of the line. Our mental health of our veterans should be the number one priority of our government and every American citizen that lives here in America. It should be our number one goal, is to make sure our military, our retired military, are healthy. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. And as you guys notice, we got Delilah. She wants to say hi before we close out. Come on. She was so good. She didn't come and interrupt us one time because I yelled at her this morning and told her to go lay down, that she's been interrupting me too much. So she waited until she heard the outro. And as you can hear, say, hi, everybody. I want to go play ball. Yeah, I want to go play ball. She's like, go, okay, let's go. Ouch! You got to quit yanking on the freaking earbuds, sis. Jeez, Louisa. All right, guys, we will see you later this afternoon, 5:30. You're going to want to be here for the Sebastian Rogers coverage. We've covered a lot. We will go over what we covered. I'm not going to have it as scripted as I have been. We're going to kind of go freely with this because I want you guys to control the show tonight. So you guys are in control of the show tonight. So be there or be square. God bless. We'll see you soon.